Today we're going to be doing hacks with Dollar Tree gift bags. Keep watching. I'm Brandy and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome back. The first project is going to be a snow sign. Not your traditional sign. Nope. Alright, we're going to start off with some paint brushes, of course. I've got some of this dishwasher glittery Mod Podge. It's in a gold color. I have a glorious gold paint. Got some wood glue, a glue stick, a variety of bags, and I have chosen this one to use for this sign. And I've got some tags and ornaments to go on here. Now these little houses, you can pretty much get something similar to this at Dollar Tree, so just keep that in mind. They're two different sizes, and then we're going to have a sign or something as a base for the bottom. So you find what will fit for you and use this for your inspiration. I'm going to cut this bag out where I have the letters snow. I'm going to kind of offset them with my scissors, so that just means I have that whiter outline to go around it. I'm going to grab some of these little pieces of pads, papers, whatever they're called, because they're really good to use for this type of work, and they're cheap. There's 100 in there. They came from Dollar Tree. Yeah, good stuff. I'm going to use my brush to just pretty much dry brush over the top. I build mine up, okay? So you don't have to do this step if you don't like this look, but I think it is a beautifully glamorous rustic look that I think you're gonna like. I have not seen anything done in these colors in this way, but you know, if somebody else has already done it, there's only so much inspiration in the atmosphere that you can pull from. And I do think sometimes crafters get on that same wavelength. So you see a lot of people that are accused of copying other people's work, and sometimes I don't think that's the case. I think, you know, you just come up with stuff and you just go with it, and sometimes it's similar. That's okay too. I'm going to try to make mine different. Now, this is an ornament. I need to make this just a little piece to go on my sign, so I can just cut off the little hanging part. If you have an ornament and you choose not to do this, you don't have to. You can certainly just leave it exactly the way it is. You can use stickers, you can use transfers, anything you want. But this is going to be the O for snow. I'm going to use the snowflake in gold. I love this beautiful antique color that's on here. It's really pretty. I'm going to add it just in a few spots with some E6000, and then I'll use a little bit of hot glue on there to grab hold to that round wooden disc that I have underneath. This came from some, I think it was like a tic-tac-toe or a chess set. You know, the ones you can pick up at different stores at holiday time? Well, I found them, but I couldn't find the mat at the Goodwill bins. So I just picked them all up because something like this you can use for a variety of things. All right, so once this is dry brushed and dried, I'm going to go back over it in the heavier spots. You can either use some brown paint or whatever the base is here. You could use that, or you can use some sandpaper and just kind of blend it just a little bit. I'll use some wood glue to put these down on the sign. The first time I used this sign or made a sign, I'm actually redoing one, but the first one that I did is what I'm getting at. That one I actually put on with hot glue and they ended up popping off. So yeah, definitely use wood glue where you can. These are definitely wood, so this is going to work great. You could use E6000, I think, too. Look at this. I've never used the glittery Mod Podge, so I'm going to give it a shot. When you look at the jar, it just looks like clear spots, and then you have chunks of glitter. So shake it well, mix it well, and I really mixed a lot until I get it all incorporated. Because it's kind of like when you do sparkle nail polish. Sometimes you get some sparkles and sometimes you don't, so your nails don't look exactly alike. I'm going to show you in a little while how you can fix that to make sure you get the best coverage that you want. But for now, we're just going to start by putting one layer down, and I'm going to go over the spots where I put that glorious gold on each one. And I'm also going to go over the chimney. I don't know if you saw me painting those chimneys gold as well, but I did. You want to make sure that all of your paint is dry before you add on your Mod Podge. I went over the side of the house too, and now I'm going to go around all on this ledge that it is sitting on, or the board that it is sitting on. It's actually a little sign turned sideways. Okay, so if you just apply it like this and you just rub it on, you're going to get mostly the shiny part of the Mod Podge. Okay, don't worry about that. Once you put on a layer or two and it dries, it's going to look a little bit better. And again, there are tricks, there are things you can do. So now I know, now that that's completely dry, I know that I want to put the letters back on. And I'm giving myself an idea of how I'd like to stay in place. Word to the wise here. Take my advice and don't do what I did. I used this Mod Podge to put these thick bag letters onto the sign. I do not recommend you do this. I did do it. This is more like, for me, like a top coat, if you will. This might have worked with regular paper, but on these Dollar Tree bags, there's a coating. And it's not just Dollar Tree, it's coating. I think it helps it to be, it gives it that nice soft texture. So it has like almost like a plasticky upper coat. You know what I mean? So if it was regular paper, I think this would have done fine. But if I could have gone back, I would have done like my outdoor Mod Podge to put them down so I wouldn't have to keep pressing and pressing and drying and pressing and pressing because it kept trying to roll up. But you can make it work. You can make it work. All right, so after I think I ended up putting 2 coats, yes, I did, of that glittery Mod Podge on there. I'm going to go ahead with the snowflakes that I have left, and I'm going to put 1 in each of the little chimneys because I had 4 left, because I thought that the color looked good, and I thought it made a little bit of a difference in the top of the way this looks. Plus, it expanded the form a little bit higher, so it's not as short and squatty. You know, it's going to take up more room on your shelf. How pretty is that? Look at the sparkle from that. No fallout on this either. Okay, so here's what I was telling you about. If you want to put it down heavier, scrape the side of the bottle where the glitter is, and then pat it on with the side of the brush. When you see the side of the brush has a lot on it, then just pat that down. When you do that, it's going to lock it in place. You can watch my videos Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. It is totally free to subscribe, unless you want to be a member, and I'll see you in the comments. The next project will be a tree planter. Okay, we're going to use some type of a little box, little wooden box. Mine is just thrifted. I think maybe it came from Michael's. 3 different colors of green, 2 different colors of green, and 1 color brown. So holly branch, a green, and then I think this is a dark or a medium brown. I'm going to use some chippy brushes, regular brushes, foam brushes, whatever you want to use. And then 2 of these Christmas trees from Dollar Tree. I'm also going to use this bag from Dollar Tree. Now the bags came in 2 packs, so for $1.25 you got 2, and there are a variety of beautiful colors that all look wonderful together. And since I'm kind of into that like a dark cottage core kind of, you know, thing, I thought maybe something a little more moody like this beautiful rich green would be something nice to focus on. So if you're doing green for your Christmas, here's an idea for you. We're going to fill in the holes. You've seen me do that before. We're going to cut off the section that we know we're going to use and make a template. I'm going to just use my cardboard box at about 7 inches that I went halfway. Then from the middle to the bottom corner, and the middle to the bottom corner. And this is going to give us a triangle piece that we can use as a template for the bag. Now I want to see exactly where I'm doing this, so I'm doing on the face side up. I'm doing it with a pencil, and then what you don't see me doing is after it's cut out, I erase all of the pencil mark. So be sure that you erase your pencil mark. Once it is cut out, I know that it is going to fit beautifully in the middle of this tree. I want more color. I've gotten away from the bright cottagey white farmhouse sort of neutral thing, so I definitely am going to be adding more color. No worries about that. Now this almost fits. The stems almost fit inside of this box, but not quite. You can sand your sides down so they fit inside whatever box you have, or if you got some boxes from Dollar Tree and they already fit, go ahead and use those. Save yourself a little time and energy. I'm using my little bullnose cutters here, and they're really good for this type of thing. They're just a good multi-purpose tool to have, I think. I should have it linked in my Amazon store if you look in the description box below if you're interested in something like that. I'm going to add some of that brown paint in there. Mix it around really good because I'm going to make essentially a wash or a stain with this rather than using the solid coverage of a paint. So I'm just going to use kind of a stiff brush here. It's actually one that I picked up and it had some damage to it, so I just cut the edges off of it and made it flat. And now I can use it for these types of things. It's a stiffer brush than a regular paintbrush, so it is going to put your layers down a little bit differently. This almost looks like a watercolor now, which I absolutely love. You can still see the wood underneath, and that is perfect for what I am going for. If you don't like any stages that I am doing here, if you don't like the way that this looks, make it your own, right? Okay, so the magic word for the Subscriber Appreciation Month giveaway is going to be a phrase this time, and it's actually going to be wrap it up. And I also want to know, when you put wrap it up, I also want to know what you're going to be wrapping with this year. Bags or boxes? So wrap it up, bags or boxes. You tell me. That's going to get you entered into a chance to win a box of goodies. And you know you want them. There'll be thrifted things, there'll be Dollar Tree things, there'll be extras that I have, there'll be bits and bobs and tools and all kinds of stuff. So you just be sure that you follow all the rules, and you do not have to live in the USA. For those who are wondering, you don't. So go ahead and follow the directions and get in there for your chance to win. Okay. Now I'm going to pat all the way over here. I'm going to age this. I'm going to put some dots on it. I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to go ahead with putting my next layer on. So now you can see that my pieces here are essentially dry. You can see a little bit darker, like a little bit of shading, and then me trying to decide where exactly I wanted to put this color. So I decided to turn the brush a little bit sideways and start by adding on, of course, my thin layers so that I could build up. Takes me a little more time doing it this way, y'all, but for me, I'm more likely to get very close or ideal to the coverage that I want if I do it this way. You don't want to do it this way, you don't have to do it at all. Leave them brown. You don't want to do that? You could leave these things the natural color. You could paint it completely solid green. If you're a beginner and you don't think that you trust your abilities quite yet, you don't have to do this. It's not hard, really. It takes a little more time, but it's not hard, right? You can do these things. I want to say thank you to my channel members. I want to give y'all a big thumbs up today because you're doing an awesome job helping me out to make my channel grow and stronger so I can bring you all the goodies that I do. When you subscribe to this channel, you are guaranteed to get top-notch, high-quality dupes and ideas and inspiration to make your own projects at home, but to do it in a more budget-friendly fashion. I always want to show you how you can do it in a budget-friendly way. If you're a beginner crafter, if you're a crafter who's been here a long time, you can find something on this channel that it will be helpful to you, that will help you go forward in your crafting journey. At least that is my hope for you. And if you are not finding it what you need, please feel free to use that comment section to your advantage. Tell me what it is that you need to know. If there's a question that you have that you need to ask. I am trying. I have a lot of subscribers now, but I am trying my best to get these comments back out to you in a timely fashion. Of course, you'll be prioritized when you are a member. You know, I'm going to get to those first. That's part of the benefit. But if you are not, just know that I am getting to those comments. I have a little extra help now with my channel, and that is going along great. So thank you so much for that. And then, yeah, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get love and appreciation and support along the way as well. Right? All is calm, all is bright. Let's stay in the positive zone on this channel. Yes. Okay, so we're moving along, and I've chatted. I'm going to use the tag from the bag here. Just trim it down and get that ready to go on the sign. Yes, I chat a lot. If you're new to my channel and you don't like that, it will not hurt my feelings if you move on, because the folks in the comments like to do their chatting too, and we just have a good old time. Yes, we do. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm so glad that you stopped by to spend part of your day with me to see what's going on over here. All right, so we have the front and the back of the box now. Fits perfectly in there. I used some Gorilla Glue. You can use wood glue and hot glue if you'd want. I'm going to use a scrap of foam to go right down on the inside. So many options with something like this. You could use, if it's a short box, you could make it a napkin holder. You could put utensils in there if it's a little bit longer or taller, forks and spoons for your little buffet. You could put coffee straws in there. But I'm going to use this for an arrangement. Yes, I'm going to use it for an arrangement. Sometimes we have a shelf that is very shallow and we don't have a lot of room. Maybe you live in an apartment or an assisted living facility. Maybe you're in the hospital and all you have is that ledge in the window. What can you do Can you send to somebody to bring them a little joy this holiday season? Well, look at this. Think of this as an idea. This would be a really easy thing to do, and it won't take up a lot of space in their room. It'll be out of the way of the nursing and hospital staff, and it'll be right there big enough to bring some joy to the person that you have given it to. You're going to hear me say a lot this holiday season about giving back, and I really think that it is not only a nice thing to do, but it's a necessary thing to do. You know, we as humans are called to be kind to one another and to help one another. And that is definitely what we ought to be doing. Yes, that's why I do the giveaways, because I love y'all and I want to give back, and I appreciate you so very much. So this is this project. The next is going to be an ornament trio. I'm going to use some of these ornaments you can find at Dollar Tree. Not sure where the heart came from, probably Dollar Tree, but it was thrifted. It looks kind of old. I'm going to use scissors, of course. Sanding paper or sanding block. You might want to use a heavy grit. I didn't, and I should have. I'm going to use some dishwasher safe or outdoor Mod Podge, and I'm going to choose some bags. Now look, let me tell you about this money savings. Look at here. You can go right down the side of the bag, and you can get all kinds of paper that is going to also blend in with the bags that you got. So look at how many projects you can make. Just imagine if I would have had more time. I could have really shown y'all some stuff. Yeah, we could have used a whole lot with just a couple of bags that we bought. All right, so I'm just going to start by cutting off the panels I know I want to use. And luckily, these bags are wide enough that each of these ornaments is going to fit. The one small problem I had, which really wasn't a problem, was that I think it was the star. It had a little tip that wasn't completely covered, but I just went over that when I aged it. You'll see me do that shortly. When I aged it, I just put that on there, and it kind of blended it out. So, you know, bags are folded and bendy and all that kind of stuff. Just go ahead and grab like a scraping tool or your heat press, or, you know, follow directions to everything. Of course, you don't want to burn your house, but if you want to make it flatter, you can. You can put it in a book or under something for a few days. It doesn't matter to me, because when I put it down, it's not going to have all those lumps and bumps. So now I'm cleaning this up. You can see that the sandpaper will even take off like scorch marks or whatever this was on here. It looked like it was kind of surface. It could be paint or something, I don't know, but it took it off. And I'm going to go all around my edges too and make them nice and smooth. It's easier when you're putting paint down, especially when you're using a foam brush, to have a smooth surface so it is not picking and sticking to it. I'm using wood tint here, and I think this is in the yes, it's in the walnut color. My goodness, between the steroids that I'm on, the muscle relaxers, and the caffeine that I have ingested this morning, I'm about lucky to put 2 sentences together that make sense. Oh my gosh. Anyway, you get the point. So I'm coloring this, and I'm going to go all the way around the edges too without it snagging. You don't have to do this on the side we're going to put the paper onto. You know, if it overlaps, it's all right. It's all right. You're going to be covering it up anyway. And it's pretty thick paper. So we're going to go all the way around, and then you want to make sure that everything is dried in completely. If you don't like the wood stain, you don't have to use it. It just really went with the woodland kind of rustic look I was going for. But if you don't like that, you don't have to do it this way. You can use a furniture repair marker. You could give it a different color. You could paint it with paint. You could leave it plain. It all depends on really what your look is and what you're going for on your Christmas tree. You could also use these as individual tags to put on gifts, and then you can give they have an ornament and they'll have their gift. Once these are all done and dry, I'm going to decide which papers I want them on, and then we're going to start putting them in place. So I'm just going to keep them together over there. I'm going to grab up my Mod Podge and put this on the back. And I will tell you, this is the same situation as it was when we were putting snow together on the first project. So I decided, okay, let's go ahead and coat that paper too. I'm going to coat that paper down really good, and I'm going to use I think the blue is the dishwasher safe. It could be outdoors. Both of them are thick, and I really like them. I just like them. It's very thick. Then I'm going to take the next one, do the same thing. I'm going to go on over the paper and on the back of the project. And when you push it down, it's going to slide a little bit if you have a lot on there, but that's okay. Just get it back into place. You have a second or two or a couple of minutes to move those around and get them in place. Okay, and then on the last one, if you do it upside down, you can do it like this, no problem. I'll cut off a little bit of excess that I have all over. Put those to the side because you never know, you might be able to come up with something else you want to use that for. Then I'm going to use a little squeegee once I flip them over to make sure everything's down well, and I'm going to make sure that I drag it over the edges and make that nice and smooth and tight. I'm going to give it just a few minutes while I was cleaning off my table to sit, and then I'm going to go all over the back side with my Mod Podge to lock it in, and I'm also going to go on those outside walls all the way down to the paper. It's also going to help everything lock in right where it should be. It should dry nicely without peeling, and we should have no worries doing it this way. And I'll do that to each and every one of those. Everything is locked in and nice. I do like the idea of giving ornaments for holidays. I just think it's a cute way to, you can embellish your package, and then, you know, they get a little something extra that's kind of a surprise. All right, now, once it is dry, I'm going to trim off any of the excess that's closer to it, just to get it out of my way. It just makes it easier. You don't have to do that part if you don't want. But they're done, so now it's time to sand. Now this is why I said you need a little bit of a heavier sandpaper than what I'm using. This is more of a close to a finishing grit, if I had to guess. I don't know. I'm not really good in the numbers game there. But yeah, I feel like it would have sheared it off better had I used something a little bit rougher. It is going to bite down into that trim that we painted or that we stained, but that's not a problem. Again, rustic. Let's just blame everything that happens today that is a happy little accident as being rustic. You spill your coffee on the table today? Rustic. Right? You were going for that look. You like the aged look on your counter. We're just going to go with that. That's what we're doing. Keep on going around here until you get all the points nice and crisp. And it's going to look old. And you see how it's lighter on the top? That's going to get colored, that little point. I'm going to put it to the side and go on to the next one. I've got an emery board. You can use that too. And I'm just going to go around here. Finger sanders I've heard are really good, but I don't have any of those, but I've heard they're good. So that would be something good to check on. Okay, so I just took what was left on that brush, covered up that point on the star that was kind of naked, and then I'm going to age all around the center, leaving the center open more around the sides to go like around contours. And then I'm going to take an awl and go through here to punch a hole back through. If you left your original burlap in piece, you could put that back on. So if you had one big piece and you could, you know, still have enough room to tie it, you could certainly use that again. But I want to make it look a little bit prettier, a little bit nicer. So I'm going to do it a little differently. Okay, and then each of the places where I punch the hole through, you'll see that white paper backing. Just be careful not to hurt your fingers when you do this. It's just a very gentle push so that I could feel the tip before I pushed it all the way through. All right, so then I'm going to take that same brush and I'm just going to push it down in that hole because I don't want, you know, I don't want that white showing through there. I'm going for an aged look. I don't want any bright. This looks like a little, what was her name back in the 90s? Mary Englebright? Englebright? Is that her name? This kind of reminds me of that. Like if it was strung up together in a garland. Oh, that would be really pretty, y'all. Y'all could do a garland like this. That'd be very pretty. So you're just gonna, let's see, I started off using the awl, but it's the same size as the hole, so of course it's not gonna work. Grab something like a little stick or a little piece of wire or something and push that through. I just used a stem from a floral that I had saved for little things like this. I'll push one side through and then push it down into the glue. We're going to show you 3 different hangers here, so stay tuned. I'm going to be showing you 3 different ways you can do this if you don't like this one. Then I'm going to flip it over onto itself. I want to make sure that this thin velvet ribbon, and I did get it from Temu. I think I shared this in a haul video that I did. And then I'm going to press that down. I love it. Love this beautiful, deep, rich forested green color. Very pretty. And this is going to make a simple hanger for that. Very simple. Look at my fingers. Okay, so the next one is going to be the heart. I'm going to add some glue right over where the hole is in the back. We're going to use the little fish symbol, and that's going to be our back. Just going to press it down. Yeah, be sure you get off all your extra glue so it's nice and pretty. And then to make this one a little bit sweeter, a little more Victorian. Let's make a little velvet or whatever this is, bow to go on the top. And we'll just put it right over that original hole that was there. This is just a shoelace bow, really easy. I know it's difficult to tell with a dark color. And, but yeah, it's a real easy bow. I've done it on lots and lots of videos. I haven't been doing too much challenging bows these days. Make it easy for y'all. Okay. And I'm just going to push that down in the middle. Remember what I say, my videos are for inspiration, so if you don't like the bow, leave it off. If you like a different type of bow, put that on there. If you want to use a button or gem, you could put that there. Whatever you like. Alright, so here's the third type of hanger. I'm just using a piece of floral wire. You can get this at Dollar Tree. I'm going to twist one end so it makes like a little spring. I'm going to push the straight part through the front. Now that springy section is going to be on the front and the long part is going to be on the back. And I'm just going to bend that long part over into a hook. That's how she will hang from the tree. Alright, I'm going to add some glue across the back so this isn't rocking and rolling and falling out while I'm trying to get my tree together. And then I'll put down a little piece of ribbon just to hold it in place. And then I'm trying to decide, what do I want to do at the top? Oh yeah, let's take that ribbon. It's not wide enough to go all the way around and give it a border, but it's enough to give it a little bit of oomph. So I'm just going to cut off a section so that I can glue this down like a band around the side. But it would have been very pretty. I could have done 2 rows of it, I suppose, but I'm trying to hang on to it. I don't have a lot left, and I still got more Christmas and winter videos to come. Alright, so I'm just going to push that sort of in the middle. Luckily, I can see through the sides, and I can see where the layers are, and that helps get a nice crisp line. If that bothers you, you can definitely get a little guidance from that. When you get back to the original meeting place, you're just going to cut that off at a slant so that it looks almost seamless. You got any extra glue that's dried on there, grab your awl or something and clean that off. You don't want to leave a nice gluey mess on there on your tree. See how easy that is to just pluck it off? Very easy. Alright, so now what? Now what are we going to do? We're going to make another little section of bow to go on this one. Now this was supposed to be a bow with 4 loops. However, somehow I missed track when I was counting and I ended up with 3 loops. We're going to make it work, okay? We're going to make it work. Y'all hang with me. Now you can see here, this is where I'm like trying to count. I don't know what else I was doing at the moment. Counting was not that, though. It was not that. Alright, so this is about 4 inches, and I'm going to go right in the middle with a piece of floral wire, and I will be twisting that on and then pulling those little loops out. And that's when I decided, well, you missed a loop somewhere, but I think we can make it work. So I'm going to take my wires that are left in the back, I'm going to kink those down pretty tightly, and then you can either lock it on your little hanger up there. I just decided to nestle it down in the little spring that I had on the front. So if you want to leave the bow off, you've got this beautiful front with the little spring on it, or you can put your bow right down in that spring. You can add to, you can take away. This is inspiration, right? Lots of ideas. Now I'm going to cut these at a nice little slant. If you need to tack anything down, I'm just going to tack this down. There's no wire in this ribbon, so, you know, it kind of going on faith that it's going to stay in place. And it does. So far, it's still there. I've got 2 little mushrooms that came out of a haul I got from Temu. I'm going to cut the little ends off. I'm going to set them side by side. And then I'm going to embellish the top. So here you are for your forest decor, folks, or your dark cottage core. We're going to add mushrooms. Of course we are. I'm going to add a little glue. Put those mushrooms right down in it. And it is so earthy. I love it. Still playing with the bow, y'all. I just didn't know. All right. So, we had 3 ornaments, a sign, and a planter. This is what we did today. I used a piece that I already had at home and redid it. I used some pieces that I have had forever. I used a little box that I have also had equally as forever. And then some greenery I already had. Essentially, for this video, I went out and bought bags. That's it, bags. And look at all that we got out of bags. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would consider subscribing to the channel. I am always striving to give you the best on a budget. If you would like to become a member, I have that information down there in the description box as well. Members, get ready. It's almost time for the Christmas card exchange. And be sure that you click the notification bell if you want to be in for a chance to possibly win a box of goodies in the mail to your house for Subscriber Appreciation Month. I want to remind you all today that as the season is something of a lot of cheer and joy to a lot of people, there are those who are not celebrating this year. There are those who have suffered loss and sickness and financial struggles, and we need to consider them and think about them today. It's time we put some more free back in the world. And by free, I mean love. Let's give freely. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you soon. Bye.